Week 9 of the 10th season of the GBA is finally here, and this week, Playmore takes on the New York Emploeon. Tyler, this is the biggest week of the season thus far. We've had a little bit of a losing streak, which is why I'm down not just the tie, but also the dress shirt. It's okay. I got Bubby on the shirt. I hope Bubby is brought to this game, but we need to win this week and maybe next week to make sure that we qualify for the playoffs. Things have gotten scary, but it's also very exciting.
You may be able to tell by the color of my face matching the color of my hair that after last week's loss, I was so desperate to do what I could to help turn this team around that I sat staring at the sun for maybe more than an hour. It might have been closer to 6 or 7 hours, just hoping to see the Bubby signal in the sky. And John, I swear I saw a glimpse because I've caught word that our king and savior might just be back this week.
That's music to my ears, Tyler, but let's find out if you're correct. Ben, what team are you bringing?
Bubby, don't you fail us today. Our designated lead for this week is going to be Hisuian Samurott with the Choice Scarf. We are running Ceaseless Edge, Razor Shell, Sacred Sword, and Ice Beam. Overall, we're more than likely clicking Ceaseless Edge off the rip to get up a spike immediately. Their only hazard removal is Fortress, and we really want to capitalize on that. Next, we have a very defensive Glamora with Toxic Debris and Rocky Helmet. We're running Stealth Rock, Sludge Bomb, Earth Power, and Mortal Spin. This is just a very good bulky pivot against their team, specifically a key answer against Ceruledge because it deals with them both before and after Terra into Fairy. Very good at keeping hazards away from their side of the field while getting Stealth Rocks up for me as well, and coverage overall is just very nice. To join its Rocky Helmet twin, we have Kilowattrel. This is overall a pretty offensive Kilowattrel, so you might be confused why we have Rocky Helmet. But it's purely to punish potential Rapid Spin on Fortress. As we do have Volt Absorb, we will hard wall any Volt Switch momentum that Fortress is trying to go for. Thunderbolt, Hurricane, U-Turn, and Roost is just a good overall neutral for Kilowattrel. This is mainly to get that chip on the Fortress and wear it down over time, as well as be a check to Zapdos. Our safety net this week is a Protective Pad Slitherwing. This is mainly to save us from their setup of their Gren or their Ceruledge. I mainly fear an Endure Ceruledge, because obviously first impressions not going to be doing too much damage to Ceruledge before or even after Terra. So first impression is purely to be able to pick up the kill, assuming they're on 1 HP after enduring a hit and getting that weak armor speed boost. And next we have the GOAT himself, Bubby, being a great support this week with dual screens, but Bubby just has a decent matchup overall, especially versus potential offensive Leafeon with Chlorophyll, which could realistically come as we do have Sun, so we got to be on the lookout for that. And last but at the very not least, we have the sweeper, the kill leader of the entire GBA league currently, Roaring Moon, with Adamant Nature, Booster Energy, Terra Flying, Acrobatics, hits like a truck, deals with their entire team. After Dragon Dance, we are looking pretty solid versus their entire team. Now let's end this losing streak and get a dub.
Tyler, it turns out you are right. Bubby is here this week. I couldn't be more excited. On the shirt, got the plush, everything is exciting. And that is the opposing team. Now, I know we're going against the assistant coach this week. I've only heard great things about the assistant coach. Seems like this could be a tough matchup coach-wise and team-wise, Tyler. That's a scary frog.
It is a scary frog, and it's a scary Garchomp and a scary... There are a lot of scary options on the other side, to be quite frank. I'm a little... If there's one that's maybe shocking, it's Zangoose. I don't know if maybe you've got something in mind looking at what we've brought or what we had overall that would have inspired that pick, because the rest make total sense. We were game planning for those coming into this one. The Zangoose feels a bit odd, at least looking at the rest of their roster and what they've brought in other matches so far this year.
Yeah, well, and that's the interesting thing with this league, because there are games assistant coaches can play. They may just really like Zangoose. They may have seen something like, hey, this fits my playstyle, didn't fit the head coach. So it's really cool to see Zangoose here. It's a Pokemon I don't know if I've seen in draft. I've always been interested to try it. And I have a few sets in my mind that could work, but it's hard to really think through it when I see 5 other Pokemon that I know quite well and I know how terrifying they can be. But the big thing is we were told by Little Birdie that this team is built to have Hisuian Samurott lead off and try to get hazards up. And Tyler, Did you see Fortress?
No, so I don't particularly, to that point, see anything on the other side that can do, to use eloquent wording here, Jack Diddley squat about us putting hazards up here.
That's my co-commentator. And this is the best possible start.
That's a no-brainer first move.
I mean, this was the plan going into the match, and now
Look
there
at
is
that
a
smile
Mew.
from Ben. He knew it, man.
Wow, that is incredible. We really, really need a win this week, and things could not be going better for us. Wow. Okay. Well, because we shouldn't outspeed them, of course, right? We're choice scarfed to lead off. Physical Mew with that close combat makes all of the sense in the world just to go for that, and we see eject pack. Oh, so they thought they would outspeed close combat, eject pack out of there, and they'd be fine. What an incredible first turn for Ben. I mean, our opponent could not have seen that coming, right?
No.
That is an incredible strategy, probably predicting the Samurott. Wow. I like hat off to our opponent. I love that strategy, just didn't work here. And now it looks like they may want to get their own hazards out, right? You know, if they get enough hazards up, Samurott's not going to be able to switch in. You know, that thing will just be fodder. Or you can just get rid of the Samurott here, kind of putting Ben in a difficult position. Garchomp does have rough skin as well. It could have Rocky Helmet. There's a lot of reasons this is a great switch in from the opponents. The question now is, what do we bring in? And I'm a little iffy on Kilowattrel, but I'm realizing we don't really have a lot for the Garchomp.
No, not at all. And you know either way, it's kind of a lose-lose in this spot where they're going to pick up the kill or get up the Stealth Rock.
Yep.
So just kind of bite the bullet. You bring in Kilowattrel, which if you know nothing else, you're going to outspeed here. And I can't fault the risky play of just outspeed. Go for the Hurricane. Why not? If it hits, awesome. If it misses, well, yeah. But if it hits, awesome.
And, you know, hey, that was a really good play on the opponent's side. I expect them to go for the hazards. Good play on Ben's side, expecting that. And with a defensive Kilowattrel, I mean, there's no reason not to Hurricane because we will be able to live and get some Rocky Helmet damage off. So that does way less than they expected. You get some good damage on them. And then, Bobby?
Could ask for a better scenario, clearly.
Okay, so this is interesting. Now, Bubby is defensive, but Bubby doesn't want to take a dragon move. Now, I don't know if the opponent wants to lose their Garchomp here. I don't think we don't want to switch with the Stealth Rocks up. We can't switch in Kilowattrel. We don't have the heavy duty boots this week. So we have to stay in, but I'm really intrigued of what the opponent's going to do here as we're kind of forced to, it's Bubby time, right? We're forced into this.
We are. I don't know if they just straight up, they anticipate the switch there?
Yes, they predicted the switch into Glamora.
Wow.
Really, really interesting. Now, a little bit, I mean, that's a huge overprediction at that part. I see the vision, but like, as much as I love Bubby, and I love Bubby, Tyler, let me say it again. I love Bubby. Bubby is a later round pick for a reason, right? Like, it's an important member of the squad. I love having it in all of the battles. We're not going to risk some of these other Pokemon that are a little bit more important to the game plan, you know, with Bubby in here. Bubby can handle itself. Bubby can get a kill. So I feel like that was the wrong time to make that prediction. Especially when you could always switch Florges in on Appleton if you didn't want to go for that dragon move and lose the Garchomp. Like, I think you can always bring this in. Maybe they were predicting, you know, like they obviously predicted us to switch. I don't know. It seemed too early for that prediction there when Bubby is Bubby. It's here to take hits and take names, Tyler.
Well, I think the only scenario in which it would have made sense to switch in a Pokemon very weak to ground moves against a Garchomp is if you had at least some fear of the back of your mind that it was choiced in some capacity. But we'd already seen multiple moves, so that's out the window. And in that case, it's kind of hard for that to be the read. But again, at least somewhat understandable. Maybe you're banking on just another Dragon Tail or some Dragon type move because we've got Bubby out there. But I'm with you. That was a huge gamble and a huge roll of dice, and thankfully it ended up going our way.
Interesting. Copycat. That's really, really interesting. Wow. Okay. I see the vision. That's crazy. Now we gotta switch because that Moonblast is going to obliterate Bubby. Wow. Okay. The opponent. I'm loving all of the different tech they've brought this week. It's working out for us, but it is they're putting on a show right now, Tyler. I am incredibly entertained.
You could applaud the other side. I mean, we see this in sports a lot. We're like, you can watch a team and maybe they're losing, but you can still sit back and applaud what they're doing and appreciate the strategy that they've brought to the table. Maybe it takes a little time for it to work out the way they want it to, but I'm with you. It's just very unique so far.
Well, and that's the thing, right? It's early they're losing, but we have not seen their strategy to win. But
now I get an answer to my question. What is Zangoose doing here?
Now, if I'm correct, I feel like Zangoose is like a faster Ursaring. I think it's got the ability is escaping my brain. Yeah, Toxic Boost, right? Attack stat is increased by 50% when poisoned. It is a 90 speed, faster Ursaring. So they probably brought this expecting the Toxic Spikes.
That's what it is. That seemed to be the theme, and it's something that we've talked about a bit as the season has gone on. We really haven't been able to make much use of Toxic Spikes so far this year. And here another situation where maybe we're not too
Whoa! The final gambit! Wow! That's crazy! Okay.
Well, forget all that. Now we know why it was here.
Wow. Okay. What I am expecting is this team is set up just to weaken us to a point where they can sweep with one of their sweepers. It's a really fast-paced, crazy beginning to try to set up that sweep. That is what I'm worried about. It's what I'm kind of anticipating here. And now, I mean, they're not even leaving an opening for us to get the Roaring Moon and try to set up and sweep. So it is going to be really interesting to see what Penn does.
I think we're in a spot where almost no matter what comes in, we might have to just let Glamora go.
Well, only if we think it would like we can't let them possibly start setting up, right?
Right.
Like that's the big thing. Glamora, I don't know if they have anything they could bring in that could just use and abuse this thing and get get a sub up maybe, get easy setup up. So this is going to be really interesting as we do see, okay, the Florges.
This at least it keeps us from bringing in Roaring Moon.
It does. But
that's my spin.
There's definitely a reason for it. Does Copycat go first? Wait a minute. Oh, it outspeeds. Okay, it outspeeds. I didn't think it would outspeed. Maybe I am wrong with my speed tiers. No, Glamora's 86.
Yeah, Florges' speed is 75. It might have a little speed investment.
Well, I mean, that's the beauty of Draft League, right? Like, you can't just go off of simply base speeds. It's going to be the investment. So, hey, I love that tech, making sure that you can. I mean, I don't know exactly what they wanted to outspeed on our team. I can't imagine it was specifically Glamora. Maybe it was.
If it was, great read.
Hey, shout out. Yeah, that's incredible. But it can be difficult. It's like that first turn. We got that Scarf to outspeed the Mew, Depending on where the speeds are, you can really, really mess up some plans. But if Coach Ben is thinking about the Roaring Moon here, this could get really exciting. I mean,
I think we've still got the light screen up, don't we? We've got the item in Light Clay to extend it even further.
So, I mean, we Terra up here.
Yeah, I think you just go straight on the offensive, especially with the booster energy.
I think you win?
I think you're right.
This has been such a crazy, fast-paced battle. Like, fireworks everywhere. But interestingly, it has led us to a point where, well, we are either winning right now or we might be losing. I actually don't know if there is another alternative. A lot of the team, if you really look, I mean, we still got Slitherwing in the back. Kilowattrel outspeeds a lot, assuming it's Samurott, but, You know, the game plan was around Roaring Moon.
Ben's got a lot of options here. He can straight up attack because we've got the boost energy and the attack boost. The sub is very powerful with light screen up. You could Dragon Imp. I like just attacking here. I think that's the play.
Yeah, I mean, there is more in the back to deal with this team than deal with the opponent's team than I realized. It's really interesting to see this, as we have not seen the two scariest Pokemon on the opponent's team yet.
It's gonna look really bad if we've called this early.
No, I mean...
Is it Scarfed?
It might be. I was surprised for a reason.
That would make a lot more sense.
Hey,
investing
okay.
speed into that thing.
Okay, I think I've brought Scarf Lord just before. I see the vision. I'm all in, but I am really... I don't know why that nickname got me. You gotta take a second. All
right, yeah, that's...
Woo. But,
Banana.
all right, you. All right. We're not outspeeding here, right?
No.
We know that. But, I mean, I don't think Greninja can take us down with the light screen up. The light screen is just really difficult for our opponent to maneuver around. Now, Ceruledge, if I'm saying that correctly, I do think it has a chance to counter sweep if we're not careful, but I mean, maybe it's like Life Orb or Choice Specs, Protean, you know, Ice Beam. We got the light screen. This is so interesting. It's so exciting, man. We haven't had a game this fast pace, I think, this entire season, but wait.
The closest might have been like week 1.
Okay. So the double into this, maybe to weak armor? Are they trying to get the weak armor off? Or force the switch? No!
I was thinking, and I was looking it up. I don't know if they invested in the defense of Ceruledge, but it's not very bulky at all.
No, I think they were trying to force a double switch. I think they were, or just try to force a switch from us, then they pulled the double switch there.
Yeah.
Or, well, I guess it wasn't.
I just don't see a scenario there where, I mean, maybe that was a roll to kill, but again, Ceruledge just isn't very bulky unless there was some physically.
No, it was they were trying to force the switch. It's Greninja outspeeds, you know, worried that you could take this thing out.
Switch on the Ice Beam.
Well, yeah, I think that was the last-ditch effort to win the game, because they're going to outspeed here, Ice Beam. But yeah, it doesn't even get close to killing with the light screen up. So, you know, it was that, like, there was nothing else to do at that point. Try to make sure that they can salvage whatever they could, but unfortunately, the strategy this week just worked so well against the team they brought. Light screen and reflect. We faced it before this season. It threw all of our plans out the window, and we had to get a little bit lucky in that one. But with the hazards up and no removal on their side and the light screen up, it just opened the doors for Roaring Moon to get a commanding win. And Tyler, was that a 5-0 win?
That was a 5-0 win. That is going to do us some good when it comes to these standings, and maybe put us in a spot to have a playoff spot locked up.
Unfortunately, it doesn't seem like we can say we officially clinched a playoff berth, but this gets us a lot closer. I'm excited to hear what the coach has to say, as this was a huge win.
We are beyond excited to be joined by our esteemed head coach, the Beneral. Ben, we've got things back on track, back to our regular winning ways. How does it feel to have snapped what was, you know, just a brief little blip of losing on this team's radar and get things back to normal in the win column as they should be?
It was very nice of the other coaches to try and enlighten me how it feels on their side when they lose all the time. So it was pretty insightful to see it from their end. But now that we're back on the right side and the winning side, we're getting ready for playoffs. And we're looking very, very good. Technically not 100% guaranteed playoffs. We're like 99% guaranteed in playoffs. And then especially if we pick up the dub in week 10, we're just gonna steamroll and win the championship and all that good stuff. Whoop-de-doo.
Bubby, of course, has been a fan favorite this season, but this battle, you didn't just bring it because it's an adorable little guy and everyone loves it. It was for a pretty specific purpose, and it's something we haven't seen from Bubby yet. Now, we've faced screens in the past, and it almost lost us the game, How exciting was it to not only have Bubby in that role, but to have everything work as well as it did?
I mean, it was great. First off, Bubby killed Garchomp, so he confirmed he's the best dragon in the format now, so props to my boy. But outside of that, the screens are very corny. Not always a fan, but it was like a last-second addition, and we're like, hey, Bubby actually, he's pretty good here. Screens are great, especially when Roaring Moon, obviously, just had an amazing matchup in terms of just setting up and winning. So being able to take like the least amount of damage possible from like an annoying Protean Greninja with Ice Beam, or like very offensive Sarah Ledge with Terra Fairy, anything of the sort, it just went a long way. So seeing us get up that light screen and just let Roaring Moon basically just clean up for the rest of the game, that was chef's kiss on Bubby's part. He's really just the GOAT, and he always knows how to get her done.
One more match left in the regular season. What is your message to the fans as we get set to go back to the swamp and play this final match and look to lock up that spot going into the playoffs?
I just want to say to them, I appreciate their support along the way, and it's not going to stop in this Week 10 for the regular season. It's going to be brought into the playoffs. It's going to be brought to the semis. It's going to be brought to the finals. And Playmore Esports is going to do their darnest to pick up that championship and leave GBA Season 10 with the champion belt on their shoulders.